What if I told you that some cities in the United States are on the verge of total collapse? From failing infrastructure and rising crime to climate disasters and economic decay, these places are in serious danger, and the signs are getting harder to ignore. In this video, we are counting down 10 U.S. cities that could face catastrophic collapse in 2025. Whether you live nearby or just want to know what the future of America looks like, these cities offer a shocking glimpse into what could soon become a national crisis. Stay tuned till the end, you won't believe which city tops the list. Number 10, Jackson, Mississippi. Jackson is on the brink of collapse due to a catastrophic water infrastructure crisis. For years, the city has battled aging pipes, outdated systems, and insufficient maintenance, but the situation exploded in 2022 when flooding overwhelmed the main water plant, cutting off clean drinking water for over 150,000 residents. With recurring boil water notices and unreliable access to safe water, the public health and daily life of Jackson's residents remain under constant threat. Even though federal aid and emergency repairs have been implemented, long-term fixes lag behind, with many fearing another collapse is only one storm away. The city's struggles are a chilling example of how decades of neglect and underinvestment in essential services can drive a once functional city into the edge of humanitarian disaster. If nothing changes soon, Jackson's fate may be a warning for dozens of other underfunded cities across America. Is this a preview of what's to come in other U.S. regions? Number 9, Gary, Indiana. Once a thriving steel hub, Gary, Indiana, has become a powerful symbol of America's post-industrial decline. Once home to over 175,000 people, its population has shrunk to fewer than 70,000, leaving behind decaying factories, empty homes, and collapsing infrastructure. The city now has one of the highest poverty rates in the U.S., with nearly 1 in 3 residents living below the poverty line. Massive job losses in the steel industry in the 70s and 80s devastated the local economy, and it never truly recovered. Today, Gary struggles with rampant unemployment, high crime rates, and polluted environments left behind by heavy industry. Despite occasional attempts at revival, such as casino developments and educational investments, the economic engine never reignited. Without significant federal or private investment, Gary's future looks grim, serving as a haunting warning for other American cities reliant on single industries. Can a city that once helped build America rebuild itself before it's too late? Number 8, Lake Charles, Louisiana. Lake Charles has faced back-to-back climate disasters that left it in a near-constant state of recovery. In 2020, Hurricanes Laura and Delta struck just 6 weeks apart, leaving catastrophic damage in their wake. Entire neighborhoods were flattened, power lines torn down, and critical infrastructure rendered useless. The recovery has been slow and fragmented, with many residents still displaced years later. FEMA aid has been stretched thin, and insurance payouts haven't covered the full damage. Climate scientists warn that the Gulf Coast is becoming more volatile each year, and cities like Lake Charles, already vulnerable, are in the crosshairs. The emotional toll on the community is immense, and the economy has suffered as businesses close and residents relocate permanently. If one more major hurricane hits in 2025, Lake Charles may never fully recover. The city stands as a grim forecast of what climate inaction and inadequate planning can lead to in the modern age. Number 7, San Bernardino, California. San Bernardino is one of the few major American cities to declare municipal bankruptcy, and the scars are still visible. Once known as a vibrant middle-class community in the heart of Southern California, it now faces extreme poverty, homelessness, and violent crime. After its 2012 bankruptcy, public services were slashed, the police force downsized, and infrastructure projects abandoned. Today, over 30% of residents live in poverty, and homelessness is at record highs. Local schools and hospitals are struggling to meet the needs of a growing, underserved population. While nearby cities flourish with tech and tourism, San Bernardino is trapped in a cycle of decline, with little outside investment and a crumbling public trust in leadership. The city's challenges aren't just financial, they reflect a growing divide between prosperous metros and neglected ones. If California's inland empire is the future of suburban expansion, San Bernardino shows what can go disastrously wrong when planning, funding, and vision are absent. Number 6. East St. Louis, Illinois. East St. Louis is battling a brutal combination of environmental vulnerability and economic despair. Built on a floodplain and surrounded by aging levees, the city suffers frequent and devastating floods. In 2024, the Illinois government approved millions to buy out dozens of homes that had been repeatedly flooded, proof of the city's growing unlivability. Infrastructure is collapsing, and many neighborhoods sit abandoned or deteriorating. Unemployment is high, poverty even higher, and basic services like education and public safety are stretched thin. Despite being directly across from bustling St. Louis, Missouri, East St. Louis feels forgotten, a relic of industrial America now ravaged by climate threats and systemic neglect. The city serves as a cautionary tale about what happens when environmental risk collides with economic failure. Without transformative infrastructure investment and relocation planning, the coming years could push East St. Louis past the point of recovery. The question now isn't when it will collapse, but whether it already has. Number 5. Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore is a city with two faces, one of cultural heritage and historical significance, and another of failing infrastructure and deep systemic inequality. In recent years, the city has faced a severe public utility crisis, with aging water pipes and sewer systems leading to frequent leaks, sewage backups, and sky-high bills for residents. In 2024, the city's cleanup programs were put on hold due to cost overruns and leadership disputes, leaving thousands exposed to unsafe conditions. Violent crime remains an ever-present concern, and distrust in local governance has deepened. Meanwhile, entire neighborhoods suffer from disinvestment, leading to blighted housing and crumbling roads. While Baltimore still boasts world-class universities and a growing tech sector, these benefits are not reaching the city's most vulnerable populations. The gap between revitalization and ruin is wider than ever. As 2025 approaches, the future of Baltimore depends not only on money, but on political will, and it's unclear if that's strong enough to turn the tide. Number 4. Stockton, California. Stockton has become one of California's ground zeros for the growing homelessness crisis. Between 2022 and 2024, the number of unhoused people in San Joaquin County more than doubled, putting massive pressure on already overstretched shelters and public resources. This Central Valley city previously made headlines as the largest U.S. city to declare bankruptcy in 2012, and while it technically recovered, many of the underlying issues, economic instability, housing shortages, and social inequality, never truly resolved. Now, residents face soaring rent prices, limited job growth, and a struggling healthcare system. The downtown area is dotted with encampments, and small businesses are closing due to safety concerns and reduced foot traffic. If the current trajectory continues, Stockton may soon face a full-blown humanitarian crisis. The situation underscores how quickly a city's fortunes can unravel when housing policy, social services, and economic opportunity fall out of alignment. Stockton is a warning to California and the nation. The crisis is no longer on the horizon, it's already here. Number 3. Detroit, Michigan. Detroit's recovery story is often told through downtown development and a booming tech sector, but the truth is far more complex. While certain areas have seen investment, thousands of homes still sit vacant, schools are underfunded, and one of the city's biggest threats is invisible, lead in drinking water. As of late 2022, thousands of homes in Detroit still relied on lead service lines, exposing families, especially children, to dangerous contaminants. Replacing these pipes has been a slow, underfunded process, leaving many residents without safe water for years. This infrastructure crisis is layered on top of chronic poverty, unemployment, and a fragile healthcare system. Detroit's revival, it turns out, has been highly uneven, and for many, the so-called comeback is just a myth. If lead contamination isn't resolved soon, Detroit could face a public health disaster that rivals or exceeds what happened in Flint. It's a stark reminder, fixing a city means more than just fixing its skyline. Number 2. New Orleans, Louisiana. New Orleans, a city famed for its culture, music, And resilience is sinking, literally, due to soil subsidence. Parts of the city have sunk by up to 20 inches in just 2 decades, making it one of the most vulnerable places in America to sea level rise and flooding. Despite massive investments in levees after Hurricane Katrina, the risks have returned with a vengeance. Climate change is intensifying rainfall and storm surges, while outdated infrastructure struggles to keep pace. Entire neighborhoods sit below sea level, and even moderate rainstorms now trigger flash floods. In 2023, scientists confirmed that New Orleans is subsiding faster than nearly any other U.S. city, combined with rising insurance premiums and a housing crisis. The future for many residents is becoming untenable. The question isn't if New Orleans will flood, it's how often, and how badly. Without radical climate adaptation and infrastructure overhauls, this iconic city may become unlivable sooner than we think. Number 1. Miami, Florida. Miami is ground zero for climate change in the United States. In June 2024, the city experienced unprecedented flooding, with some areas receiving over 18 inches of rain in just 24 hours. And this wasn't a hurricane, just a particularly intense storm. Miami's position barely above sea level makes it uniquely vulnerable to sea level rise. And sunny day flooding, where streets flood without rain, is becoming increasingly common. Despite this, construction continues at breakneck speed, with luxury condos rising even as insurance companies pull out and coastal property values fluctuate. Experts warn that without immediate, massive investments in seawalls, pumps, and climate-resilient infrastructure, large parts of Miami could become uninhabitable within the next few decades. The city is already facing climate gentrification, where higher-ground neighborhoods are being bought out and prices are soaring. What happens when one of America's most glamorous cities can no longer sustain its own growth? Miami's crisis isn't years away, it's happening right now. If this video shocked you, you're not alone. The signs are clear, and the future of these cities depends on action, not just awareness. Which city do you think can bounce back, and which one is already too far gone? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful, eye-opening videos.